Hi there. So for my case study project, I chose to do mine on team-based incentives, not your usual office. It is a case study from Chapter 10, Pay for Performance. So the overall overview of the company, context, and possible benefits from what happened. So this case study had to do with Done Deal Paper Incorporate, which is based out of Central Pennsylvania. So as you can see in the name of it, it deals with paperworks. Now, there was an office manager, his name is Connor Correll, and then the CEO, Bailey Zucker. Connor thought that it would be a really great idea to split the guys up into four groups of five sales reps and turn these into team-based incentives versus the normal individual incentives. Now, Mr. Zucker took a little while to come together and decide if that was the best for the company, but they decided to go with it. They couldn't see why it wouldn't work as well as maybe in individual incentives. So they said the way Correll posted this to Mr. Zucker was that it could both increase sales as well as increase cooperation, because he said a lot of the time there's two salesmen working to steal the same person for those sales, where they might as well just work together to get those sales. Okay, so after about a year doing these sales-based incentives, Correll sent out an email to all the sales reps and asked kind of how everything was going, what they thought of it, if they liked the team-based incentives, and the majority of them said they didn't. They came up with these three main challenges. The first one is some people felt that their teammates were free riding, so that they were doing all the work, and then they would have one or two teammates that weren't really buying into the concept of the teamwork and just kind of would come to work and leave, not give all their effort. Another thing is they believed that some of the groups had an unfair advantage. Some groups felt as if their locations were harder to get these sales, which makes it really difficult to want to even work in teams and try hard when you feel that your location isn't equal to other teams. And then another thing was that there would be some teams where individuals started to bicker. So the top performers would bicker with those not performing as well, because they all were working towards a goal of that same incentive. So after some research and a couple different articles, which I did post on the last slide, as well as talking with my manager at TCF Bank, Jim Taylor, about team-based incentives, since we currently switched that system January 1st. I just kind of asked how he felt about it. Now, for his opinion and for the bank world, he thought team-based incentives are awesome. People can focus on customer service instead of just trying to get through each person and try to get the sales done. You can work with someone to try to develop a plan for them, because they're not out constantly trying to sell. And you can have one person who's really good at sales and one person who's really good at customer service. You can kind of work towards that. However, when it's really important that if you're going to make team-based incentives, you really need to look at the personalities going into this. If you're having a lot of people who you feel that will work, who really like to work individually, it won't be a good idea to put them on as a team, because that will make it really hard for the teams to get along and work effectively. And so my solution, after coming up with different solutions, different plans, hearing out from my boss, Jim, I first would have asked before implementation. So I would have asked the sales guys how they feel about the team-based incentives instead of just throwing them in there. It's not fair for them to have to expect and try to change their new system when there's not very many of them, and it is all sales-based. Another thing is to then set a particular goal if they want to have sales. So set a goal for each team to achieve to, and for those in equal or in different playing fields, so that they could be equal. So I think team-based incentives can work in the right atmosphere or in the position in some organization or companies. But as figured out by these sales reps, it didn't work out correctly for done deal paper. And then there's just my citation. So thank you for watching.